Hello everyone, I'm the Saxy Gamer, and today we're here to talk about some more Civilization VII news, where today we're going to be talking about the age system that has been announced for Civilization VII and how this is going to affect gameplay and everything that we know about it so far. So this is going to be a part of my series of videos where I talk about some of the various features that were announced in the gameplay reveal live stream that happened last week, so be sure to subscribe to the channel to make sure that you don't miss any of those videos. So let's start by talking about what the age system is, and then I'll give you my thoughts on it, and then, we can have some general discussion about it. So, for those of you who haven't heard, in Civilization VII, the game is now going to be split into 3 ages: the Antiquity Age, the Exploration Age, and the Modern Age. You can think of these kind of like the eras that we have in Civilization VI, but the difference is that the changes are a lot more drastic between the various ages. So in Civilization VII, the resources are exclusive to ages, the civilizations that can be played are exclusive to each age, and it sounds like the technologies and civics are also unique to ages. So this might mean that you can go through the game without researching all text. So say that you finish the Antiquity Age and you haven't finished a certain technology, it might be a thing that whenever you move to the Exploration Age, you are no longer able to research that technology or civic. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but from what they've said in the gameplay reveal live stream, it kind of does sound like that is the case. I mentioned that civilizations are unique to each age as well, so the other major change here is that in Civilization VII, you no longer keep one civilization for the entirety of the game. As each age changes, you change your civilization as well. So you can think of this kind of like humankind. This is basically what happens in humankind. As each of the eras progresses in humankind, you get to change your civ, which means that you get new bonuses as you move into the next stage. And I think just like humankind, you do keep some sort of legacy bonuses from the civ that you are transitioning away from. So say you start the game as Egypt. Whenever you move into the Exploration Age, you will pick a new civilization, but you will retain some bonuses from the Egypt civilization that you are coming from. So I had mentioned before that it seems like resources are age exclusive. So this might mean for something like a luxury resource, maybe you have something like, I think they showed dates in the live stream. You have dates in the Antiquity Age. Maybe whenever you move into the Exploration Age, you no longer have dates on the map. The new luxury resource that replaces that maybe is something like coffee or chocolate or something like that was around in the Age of Exploration. So it appears that the resources are age exclusive. The other thing that they mentioned is that the independent powers in the game will update at the change of the ages. So independent powers, just think of them like city-states for now. We really don't have that many details about them, but it seems like they're basically Civilization VII's version of city-states. So as the age changes, so do these independent powers, and I'm sure various traits about them will also change with the age. They also mentioned that there are new discoveries whenever you enter into a new age, and whenever they did that, they showed a little clip of like a boat going to a shipwreck. So it sounds like there's not just going to be goodie huts at the start of an age. It sounds like there's going to be more goodie huts as you go later on into the game. So, just little things on the map that you can go pick up that give you some random bonus. So it sounds like you're going to get new discoveries, so those goodie hut type things whenever you enter into a new age. The other thing that I really think is interesting is that in the live stream, they said that the game world, and I quote, literally expands whenever you enter a new age. So to me, that sounds like the map actually physically gets larger, as in, something like discovering maybe a new continent gets added that you can go and settle on. And I think that this is something that would be really interesting if they do it. I don't know if this is actually a thing or not. But from what they make it sound like, it sounds like this could potentially be a thing, which I think is very exciting because this really will add a lot more variety to what happens in the middle of the game, because then you can choose, do you want to go settle this new land and expand over there? Do you want to focus on your mainland? If this is actually the case, then you're really going to get a lot of options. So the other thing that's interesting is that they said in the Antiquity Age in multiplayer, there are 5 civilizations, so 5 players that can play. When you move into the Exploration Age, I think it goes up to 8. So this also might mean that there are literally like additional leaders that get added whenever you move into a new age, which once again, I think that would be very cool. Just add a lot more variety to the game. A big problem that Civilization has kind of always had is that the game is not entirely, but like mostly decided by the first 100 turns or so, in that your start location is very important. What happens in first 100 turns basically decides who's going to win the game. With this expansion, and maybe if you had a bad start, a bad spawn whenever you started the game, maybe you can be the first one that goes and explores and settles on new land. Maybe you can go, befriend someone else or take over someone else and get a lot of cities that are, that you didn't have before. I think that this ability, I don't know, once again, this is just kind of speculation. They haven't literally confirmed that the map expands and that new civs are added. This is kind of just me theorizing based on what they've said. But If that is actually a feature in Civ 7, I think that that is going to be so fantastic for spicing up the mid and late game, because it's going to mean that there are actually new things that you can do, multiple strategies that you can take, whether you want to go explore that new land or if you want to just stay where you are. I really think that this is going to be something cool if it actually is a feature. There also does appear to be a crisis at the end of every age, so this sounds like it's something, I believe that Bose had talked about it whenever he was talking about the gameplay. I'm a little jealous because Bose got to play Civ 7, and so did a few other YouTubers. I unfortunately did not receive the invite to go play Civ 7, so that's why all of this is just theory, because I haven't actually played the game yet. But there appears to be a crisis at the end of every age. A crisis is, something bad that happens, maybe like a plague, or I don't know, maybe like an asteroid impact. I don't really know. I just made that one up. But it sounds like what happens with the crisis is that, something bad happens, and then you kind of have to choose like how you're going to deal with it and what negative penalty you're going to take. That there are at least crises in the game that have negative impacts on your civilization. So as we learn more about those, maybe I'll make a separate video about those. The other thing they've mentioned with the ages is that it seems like everybody transitions from the ages at the same point, unlike Humankind. So in Humankind, people can transition to different eras at different times. So whoever like gets to the point of a new era first just gets to pick their leader first. In Civilization 7, everybody is going to transition to the next era at the same time, which means that everybody picks their leader at the same time, which means you shouldn't have the problems like you did in Humankind where, someone rushes to the next era and then steals the leader that you wanted to take. That doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem in Civ 7, which is good because that was really annoying in Humankind. All right, so that's kind of an overview of all of the age feature-related things in Civilization 7. So now with that in mind, let's go ahead and have some discussion about it. So let's first talk about the civilization switching thing, because this is something that I see a lot of people having some mixed opinions about. So whenever you are able to switch your civilization, the civilizations that you're able to go to next, like you can't just pick any random civilization. There are certain prerequisites that you have to fulfill in order to go to a certain civilization. So I believe in the trailer they showed that as Egypt, you could go to you could transition to the Songhai just by being Egypt. You could transition to Mongolia by having so many horse resources, or there might be other options based on which leader you're playing. So in addition, the other thing I haven't really talked about yet is that leaders and civs are separate in Civ 7. I'm going to make a whole different video about the changes to leaders that we'll talk about that. So hopefully that should be coming out tomorrow or something. So be sure to make sure you look out for that. But yeah, so unlike Humankind, you can't just pick any random civilization when you advance an era. There actually is some sort of prerequisite, which I think is a good thing because it actually in Humankind, it kind of felt like there's too many options. And the reality of it was, whenever you were playing Humankind, based on which victory type you're going for, you really would only care about having a certain number of civilizations. The rest of them were just kind of like useless garbage. So luckily in Civilization 7, they do limit your choices, which I personally think is a good thing. So this is also causing a lot of controversy amongst the Civ community because I've seen a lot of people complaining that these things are not historically accurate. Like, why does Egypt turn into the Songhai? How in the world does Egypt turn into Mongolia? They're not even on the same continent. And, people complain about this from the historical accuracy standpoint. How does that make any sense? And I do get what they're saying, but at the same time, Civilization is a video game, and a lot of things in it don't really make sense anyways. So take example, the current thing that we have right now. You pick a leader in a civilization at the start of the game, and you play them forever. If in Civilization 6 you pick Babylon, Babylon is not really around today. But in Civilization 6, you can play Babylon in the atomic era and nuke somebody. That is not really historically accurate at all either. Civilization 6 is not a historically accurate game. Civilization as a whole has never really been a historically accurate game. It's, a simulation game that is based on history. So I'm not really bothered by the fact that you can switch to different civilizations. And I'm telling you, I like the fact that it's limited, that you can't just go to any civilization because then it becomes an element of strategy as to, which things do I have to satisfy if I want to switch to this new civilization in the next era and then get the bonuses for that civilization. The other thing I really like about this is something that they mentioned in the live stream is that in something like Civilization 6, some civilizations are very strong in the early game, but then have no bonuses in the late game. Some civilizations have a lot of bonuses in the late game, but no bonuses in the early game. And this kind of really makes it a little bit boring to play those civilizations in eras, in the section of the game where you're not really strong, because you basically just have no bonuses. There's not really anything special about playing that civilization. being able to transition from civs between ages means that you are always going to have a civ that is relevant to the age you're playing in, and it's going to have at least some bonus. So I think this is really going to be nice for just keeping things fresh and making sure that, you know, you can have some sort of bonus that you can work with, some sort of strategy that you can play to in a specific era, rather than just having to wait for the next era, or, you know, rather than just having to wait until a time you're strong, or if you've already passed that time, just wait till the end of the game. The one part where this does concern me a little bit, though, is in the fact that, you know, having those timings in Civ 6 was kind of a skill thing that made the game fun, in that, you know, if you were able to hit, say you're playing as Rome, you're able to rush towards Immortals, you get your unique unit faster than, you know, other people, you get that power spike from having that unique unit, and then you use that to go maybe take over someone else. Having those power spikes where you're not strong and then you become strong was something that was really fun in Civ 6. At least I personally enjoyed it. I feel like it was, you know, a skill-based thing that made the game fun. I don't know if that's really going to be a thing as much in Civ 7, because if you're always going to have some bonuses, then you can't really like strategically plan out those timings as much. Maybe this is not a problem because the ages are quite long in Civilization, it would seem, if the whole game is only divided into 3 ages. So maybe there still is this element of like having certain power spikes and, you know, maybe power valleys where your civ is not particularly strong. But it'll be interesting to see. Once again, that's something I'm concerned about it because I feel like it was fun in Civ 6, but I don't know, maybe what's in Civ 7 could be equally fun or more fun. Once again, since I haven't played the game, I don't really know. We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, let me know what you think with regards to that, because I haven't seen many other content creators talk about that aspect of the age system. So yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comment section below. The other thing I've seen a lot of people complaining about with regards to the age system is, you know, comparisons to Humankind. People say they really didn't like the age system in Humankind. They didn't like changing your civ because they thought, you know, it's much more fun to just play the same civ throughout the entire game. The one counter argument I do have about that is just, in Humankind, there are 7 eras, so you change your civilization 6 times in that game. In Civilization VII, there are only 3 eras, so you only change your civilization twice. It's really not going to be that frequent of a thing. So you are actually going to stay as a single civilization with the same bonuses for quite a while. It doesn't update as much, which I feel like is going to make it feel a lot more cohesive than Humankind did, because at least to me in Humankind, what civ you were playing, basically, they all felt the same to an extent, because you just get some random little bonus, you use it for 30 turns, and then you switch to a new civ, get some random other little bonus, use it for 30 turns. I don't think that's going to be as much of a problem in Civ 7 because of the fact that there are many fewer ages than Humankind. They're going to be a lot more spaced out, so therefore you'll have a lot more time on each individual civ to actually play towards its bonuses. The other thing that I think is going to be really nice about the age system is adding that variety, as I kind of already talked about throughout the game, where you're going to get new things as the game goes on, which I at least hope, is going to make the game stay a lot more engaging as the game goes on. The other issue, or the other way I hope that this helps the game, I kind of mentioned it when I was talking about the map expanding, is in giving you multiple options for your strategies. So you're kind of able to plan out your pathway towards a particular victory, and whenever you do that, you know, whenever you do that in Civ 7, you're going to be able to switch your civ in a way that kind of gives you bonuses towards the way that you want to play. So you're not locked in and forced to play the playstyle of a single civ so much. So maybe there's going to be some really fun combinations of maybe you start out the game, you know, playing for a science victory, and then you kind of decide to pivot to an economic victory or something like that, or a culture victory, or any type of other victory. I think that it's going to give some nice flexibility that maybe if you see someone else is going to... If someone else is like way beating you in science, maybe you want to try to go for a different victory instead. Having that ability to pivot, I think, could be something that's really fun and just give a little bit more spice to the game. Because as I mentioned before, a lot of games in Civ 6 and previous Civ games are determined like by turn 100. I think that the ability to change things up a lot more in Civ 7 is going to make this a lot more fresh and hopefully help out with that issue. All right, I have rambled enough, I suppose. Let me know what you think about the age system in the comment section below. As I mentioned, in the next video, I'm going to be talking about changes to leaders and how those are going to change in Civilization 7, so be sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss that. But thank you everyone for watching. I have been the Saxy Gamer. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like. If not, feel free to dislike. If you're looking for some more Civilization 7 content, feel free to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.